Hey everybody, so we're going to get started on a Photoshop workshop today. This is going to be a screencast. I find these work a little bit better for everyone because you can stop it and go back and you can focus in on certain areas. So I think these are going to be a little bit easier for you to follow than just a regular old workshop. So this is the picture that we're going to recreate today. This is one I grabbed the Mach 5 off the net. That's a Speed Racer's car. Threw it into the Indy 500 here. Let's see, don't have a year on this, but I'm guessing it's pretty early on. And what you see here, we're going to make in Photoshop right now. So I want you to follow along. I'm going to show you a lot of the tools and some of the things you need to keep in mind as you're working with Photoshop for this project. So the first thing we need to learn to do is open up Photoshop. So let's go down to our Applications folder. It should be down in the dock right here. You may already have Photoshop in your dock. Chances are you may not. So let's go into your Applications folder. Click on that. You should see a blue folder that says PS on it. If you hover your mouse over it, it'll say Adobe Photoshop CS5. Click on it once. Click on the folder that comes up in that. Click on that once. You should have Photoshop here. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is pull in our images. So I've already found some images on the net. And what we'll do is, you can do a couple different ways. So the first way is go into File. We'll go to Open. And we'll find the picture on the desktop where we had it. So my first picture is the screen capture for the Indy 500 or Speed Racer, whichever I find first. So I think I can find Speed Racer first. Okay, there's Speed Racer. Okay, we'll open that one up. Just opens up here at the top. And the other one I need is the Indy 500 one. So if I actually go to that picture, right click on it, which is Control and click, and go to Open With, you'll find Adobe Photoshop CS5. So if you're wanting to open up any photo and you want it to open up directly in another program, just right click on it. It'll give you the options that are available for that specific type of file. So we're going to open it up in CS5. It should open up right alongside. So what we're going to need to do is drop the Mach 5 in here, inside the Indy 500. So we're going to need to do a little bit of cleanup on the Mach 5 first. So let's use our magnification tool down here. It looks like a little magnifying glass. We're going to click in a little bit. For those who are maybe working on a laptop, or those who might be using a mouse that has a little scroll ball on it, an easy way to zoom in and out is if you hold down Alt, and you can push in and out with that little ball that's on top of the mouse. Or if you're using a laptop, hold down Alt and use two fingers on the trackpad, and that'll push you in and out. So you don't have to keep going back and forth to the magnifying glass. In fact, that will work no matter what you're on. So if you hold down Alt and push in or out, you'll be able to zoom in on different parts of your picture. Alright, so we've got this zoomed up a little bit. First things first, we're going to want to get rid of everything else except for our Mach 5. So we can do a couple different things. One of them is we can use the Magic Eraser tool, and we just select that over here on the left side in our Tools menu. You can see there's also an eraser tool, background eraser tool, magic eraser tool. Background eraser tool just erases everything in the foreground, so we just see the background. Those checkers right there mean that we're seeing something transparent. That's what the Photoshop will put in, just to kind of show us that there is something there. Believe us when we say it, but whenever we finally share it out, it'll be invisible. So one thing we can do is we can also crop it a little bit. Actually, lots of different ways we can start off here, but let me show you some of the easier ones. So if we want to get rid of everything, we use the Magic Eraser, and we'll just click around different parts of the picture. Wherever you click, it will get rid of that color in that area and shouldn't touch anything else. So this it really helps free a lot of things up very quickly. Another option would also be your magnetic lasso tool. That's a good way to clean everything up if you want to try and work with that. And then that pretty well got everything we want. If we want to go in and do a little bit more fine-tuning, we can go in with our background eraser tool. We've already got a fairly small brush right now. If you wanted to shrink the size of that brush, or the size of the area that the eraser is working in, we'd go up here to the top, and you see right here is your size of your brush, or the size of your tool at the time. So if I want to make it huge, I mean, I can cover the entire screen if I want to. But we want it kind of small because we're working on some small pieces here. If you want to play with the limits and the tolerance as well, going ahead. But at this point, if the tolerance is at 100% and the limits are at discontiguous or contiguous, they should be about the same for you at this point. They're not going to really be a problem for you. Alright, so we have this cleaned up. We have a lot of the extra stuff out of there. Let's see, there might be a couple little stray things. And what we'll need to do first is put a filter on top of the Mach 5. So we're going to a black and white photo. So let's make the Mach 5 black and white. So if we go up here to filter, we're going to take actually, I'm sorry, let me back up. We're going to go to image, going to go to mode, and we're going to make this grayscale. So that what that'll do is it'll make it look like it's black and white. And we're going to go in and do a little tweaking so we can make this look more like the cars, or at least the color, or lack thereof, look more like the cars that are in the picture of the Indy 500. So we're going to grab the move tool, and what you have to do with that is just click and drag your photo of whatever you have, in this case the Mach 5, over to where your other photo is, and release it, and it'll drop your, I put that right there, keep that center point right there. You just drag it into your photo. Now, it doesn't quite line up with everything else, obviously. You might want to tweak it just a little bit so it kind of lines up with the other cars in the picture. As you see here, when you have the move tool selected, which is this arrow up here, this is how you move things around your screen. And as you pass the cursor around edges of this box, you'll see that you get curved arrows at the corners. And what that means is you'll be able to turn your picture around. So if you need to match it up with everything else that's in the picture, that's a good way to do it. You want to expand it out a little bit more because it looks like it should be a little bit bigger. We'll make it pretty good size. And keep in mind, this is something that's easy to change and easy to work with, so if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. If you look over here to the right where this layer menu is, you'll see that we have layer 1 and background. Okay, currently background we can't really mess with, it's locked. But if we want to make it so we can affect the background and change parts of the background, double click on that, and it'll give you this option here for new layer. Just save it as layer 0, not a big deal. If you want to give it the name, Indy 500, that might be good for you to just keep track of things. And then we might go up here and change this layer. Just click on it and then click on it twice, and it'll give you the option to change the name of that. So we'll call this Mach 5 just to be consistent here. So we need to get this car kind of ingrained into the background here. And let's say we dropped it in and we have everything set up the way we like it, and let's go over here and start playing with some of these tools, and I'll show you how to back up a little bit. Go over here and we'll grab our dodge and our burn tools. Now our burn tools and our dodge tools are original tools that you'd use when you develop photographs. And they've incorporated them into Photoshop because a lot of photographers are kind of used to dodging and burning. When you dodge something, you're actually making it lighter. So you're going to lighten it up a little bit. So we selected the dodge tool here. And the same thing with the brush. We can control the size of the area that we're going to dodge. I'm just going to pass it over the top. Now this is one thing you need to remember, that you're on the right layer. So if I'm on the Indy 500 layer and I'm trying to work on this thing and it's not working, it's not doing anything, it's because you're on the wrong layer. Just switch it over to the Mach 5. Now right now we're going for the shadows that we're going to try to burn. Now let's go for the highlights. That will lighten things up a little bit more. You see quite a bit of it lightening up now. And let's go ahead and do some of the midtones. Midtones are the grays, the things that are kind of in between. So you want to kind of go between all three of those settings and get rid of those. If you want to play with the exposure, all that does is you crank it up to 100. It's going to be a very drastic change between everything there. Let's say I didn't want that. I didn't want that exposure right there. Let's go ahead and try this now where we're going to back up. So the keys to back up, you can go up here to edit and you can do undo dodge tool, which is Command Z. That's the easiest thing to keep in mind. That'll always step you back one step of what you just did. If you want to keep going, you've done several things and it's really messed up, then you want to do step backwards. So if we want to undodge that, we'd hit Command Z, and you see it starting to go back and forth between two. Well, I want it to go back even further. So what I'll do is I'll hold down Command, and then I'll hold down Alt Option. That's the same key, Alt Option. And then I'll start hitting Z. to go back. And you'll see we start stepping back through all the changes that we just made. So still using the dodge tool, we're going to put everything back the way it was. Okay.